Today, I want to share my menopause story with you and my message to all women, regardless of your age, but particularly if you're just entering that perimenopausal phase, or even if you've gone through the menopause and you feel like it's years behind you now, it is still relevant for every woman. Now, I feel in a way that I had maybe an easier menopause than a lot of other women. I still had a lot of symptoms. I still had the hot flushes, the night sweats, the brain fog, the fatigue and tiredness was probably one of the worst things. Disturbed sleep. Um, so all of the common ones, I had all of those. But I felt like I was able to manage them quite well because I kept myself active. I'm a Pilates teacher, so I was still teaching through that time, and I feel that helped me a lot. It helped me keep active. I have never had any aches and pains. Like a lot of women can start to experience aches and pains in their body and their joints for the very first time around perimenopause. But because I've always been quite active, I've been quite lucky. I've never had anything like that. I've never experienced that. But for some women, it can get quite bad around that time. I changed my diet. So I wanted to do something to help with the fatigue and the tiredness that was getting really quite bad. At its worst, I could quite easily have a nap at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and if I sat down, that was it. I'd just drift off to sleep. I used to be getting that tired mid-afternoon. Um, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to sort out because then I sort of lost my evening. I just hadn't got the energy to do anything else later in the day. So I changed my diet, and that has helped tremendously because now I can go till 9 o'clock at night quite easily, no trouble. So by keeping active and changing my diet, I felt helped me to manage all those symptoms. So I think that's one of the reasons why when I listen to other women talking, I often think, oh, I seem to have managed quite well, I've been quite lucky that I haven't had the symptoms that some other women experience. Um, and then something else happened, which isn't a sort of a symptom of menopause, but it's something that can sort of occur during menopause and that postmenopausal age. When I sort of started to think that, oh, maybe I'm just hitting perimenopause now, I went to the doctors just to double check that that's what it was. I think it was hot flushing that I first started to experience. And the first thing she did was she sent me off for a bone scan. And I came back and she says, oh, you have osteoporosis, which wasn't something that I was expecting. I was only 44 at the time. I'd obviously had osteopenia for a little while, and 44 is quite young to have osteoporosis. I've got it in my spine and in my pelvis. And I've always been really active throughout my life, even from a younger age. I used to dance when I was younger. I used to do martial arts. I've competed as a ballroom dancer for years. I used to love the gym and run. I still do a bit of running, not as much though now. So I sort of felt like I'd been active enough to keep my bones healthy and strong. I sort of built up a reserve of all those minerals in our bones that we need to keep them nice and strong. And I've only had a period, about 4 years, where I didn't do anything much, and that's around the time that I had the children. But up until then, and since then, since they've started going to school, I have always been really active. I've always been doing something. So it's not something that I was expecting. But we can lose our bone density more rapidly during perimenopause and postmenopausal age. So I've discovered now it is really important that we really focus on our bone health. For me now, that is what I focus on. I've changed my diet again to make sure that I eat the type of foods that I need for my osteoporosis and for this period of my life at the moment, just coming out of that perimenopause phase now, hopefully. So I've made those changes, and the one thing that I've really started to focus on a lot more is resistance training, because I have learned now that um, keeping my muscles strong will help to benefit my bones. Even though I've already got osteoporosis, I don't want it to get any worse. I want to slow it down as much as I possibly can. Now, I don't carry a lot of weight, and I know that that is probably part of the reason why I've developed osteoporosis, but I've always been really active. So, for women who are less active and maybe haven't really done much exercise for a number of years, maybe you were like me, you didn't really do any, if you've had children, you took a break around then. For some women, they haven't done any exercise really until since they were at school. So, if you are go through periods of inactivity, your body isn't going to be able to hold on to that bone density that it needs. There is so many women that will develop osteoporosis, but the problem with this is that we don't usually, for most women, find out that we have it until something happens. You go for a walk, you slip, you fall, you break a bone. And that is for a lot of women. That's how they find out that they have osteoporosis. So it is so important, regardless of your age. Okay, you know, a lot of women when I talk about menopause, they associate it with the women who are actually going through the perimenopause at the moment. They've got all the symptoms, but if you've gone through it, you think, oh well, it doesn't apply to me now because I've gone past that stage of my life. But actually, it is still relevant for you, even if you're in your 60s and your 70s. Um, a little statistic that came out not that long ago. If a woman who is aged about 65 years old, if she falls and breaks her hip, she is 50% likely to be unable to remain mobile and independent 1 year later. Now, 65 isn't old. Okay, so if that happened to you and you found out that you couldn't stay mobile and independent and do all the things that you wanted to do around your mid-60s, that would have a dramatic impact on how you lived your life. So my message to all women, really from 40s, for around 40s particularly, but especially when you hit that perimenopause age, and even later, after you've gone through menopause, keep keep carrying on with moving your body, because that is the best thing you can do. You probably have heard me say before that movement is medicine for your body, and it really is. You need to maintain good muscle mass. If you do resistance training, so if you use light hand weights, if you use resistance bands, if you use your own body weight, that will help you to strengthen those muscles. And if you focus on strengthening those muscles, it will have a positive impact on your bone health. It will help you to keep those bones strong. So even if you're a bit older and you're thinking, oh, I don't really know if it's really going to benefit me, trust me, it will. Whatever your age, you want to keep your body nice and strong. Okay, so a bit of resistance work, I would recommend that for every woman, whatever your age is, so that you can stay mobile, stay independent later in life, keep your muscles and your bones nice and strong.